Hello, my name is Reinilda Blair, and I'm a visionary artist. Literally, my first memory that I have is sitting in front of my house in DR and the little motor scooters going past, and then I was like drawing little stick figures. I have that so clear. And then after that, we didn't have money when we moved to New York City, so I would use the steam after the shower and my mom's little makeup brush, and I would pretend to be Bob Ross on it. I've always been doing art. However, when it comes to visionary art, it started after I had a near-death experience when I was in my 20s. Pretty much, I passed away twice. But when that happened, it felt like I was falling into like the abyss. And it was like the best feeling I've ever felt in my life. I did not want to come back, but obviously I did. I even saw my godmother who told me it wasn't my time. But then a few years later, I started meditating and like I was being guided to tap into something. And then I started getting all these visions and all these stories and information. Like I even started learning about ancient Egypt when I didn't even know what that was. I would get dreams about it. And then all these visions started coming to me and I started painting them. I just used whatever art skill I had to create these pieces and try to tell a story of what was going on in my mind pretty much. I actually went to school to be an art teacher, but then it was just too controlled, like the system of it, and they weren't getting enough funding and stuff. And I'm like, I'd rather just create art in a more expansive way. Maybe have someone see my art and be inspired instead of like being so controlled on what you can even teach as an artist. When I was first starting, I was making art to sell. I was doing vending. So, I was making prints and I was like, I'm gonna make t-shirts. And I bought so much stuff to do this stuff. I bought the printer and the heat press and all these things just so I can like sell it to people, right? But what actually like switched that was when people would see my art, they would tell me all the stories that they were like learning from it, like was seeing in my art. And I'm like, oh, my art is not really it's not just pretty pictures. Like people are like seeing things in it. So that inspired me to be more of a gallery artist so that I'm able to talk about the pieces more instead of just like, here you go, take it home, do whatever you want with it. When I went to Dominican Republic and I went to Bonao, where I'm from, and I started seeing all the murals around there and all the artists and all the colors that they used was the same stuff that I was doing. So it was almost psychological how I started using these colors because it's very bright, it's very colorful, it's very saturated. So that's very much Caribbean art. I'm very like neat when it comes to painting. So when we didn't have money growing up, I was very like the tiniest bit amount of paint I would put out, right? So I was just using the smallest bit and whatever I didn't use, I'll put it back in the tube, as hard as that is. And I still kind of do that. Like I don't put a lot of paint down. I always use whatever I can and I use like a palette that keeps it wet. I'm very sustainable when it comes to the way that I paint. My brushes, I keep it very clean. I don't let them get crusty. And also, like, I even paint in thin layers. Everything is very flat and thin. I don't know if this is a lack mindset that I still carry, or is actually what makes my art look so, like, smooth. I've actually taken like oil painting courses, so I know how to paint in oils, but then I realized that my oils look just like my acrylic painting, and I want to paint fast. I want to like move on. Even though oils is really nice and like blends so well, but I paint fast. Like my blending comes together regardless. So yeah, I definitely prefer acrylics for sure. Even though oils look beautiful, like the saturation of it is so nice, and you have to work harder with acrylics to even get a quarter of that, but I don't have the patience for oils. I really don't. I think that I'm very raw as an artist. I'm very myself. Like I'm not trying to create art that's like popular or like that I'm trying to fit into a gallery or fit into a space or even fit into the demographic of the area. I'm not trying to do any of that. If anything, I'm just painting things that's very original to me. I kind of like to make art that confronts people a lot. I think maybe that differentiates me, and also the otherworldly type of stories that comes with it. Because some people, even though they think that they can't connect to it, something in them, I know, kind of sparks. And that's what I want to happen, actually. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to my art. I'm very much like, this is giving what it needs to give, and I can move on. I really don't feel like such an attachment to it, because the art is not for me. So I feel like once you can kind of grasp what I'm trying to say, I can move on. Nature is almost in all of my pieces, even though secretly I am not a nature girl. Like, I'm very much a New Yorker. You don't see me outside barefoot. Like, I don't do that. But maybe this is how I experience nature, is by painting it, you know? I know this sounds crazy, but it's almost like so stressful to be an artist. It really is. The purpose of it is very heavy on me. It's almost like not like fun to like create. It's really like I have to do this. Like if I don't, I might be reincarnated or something, you know, which is really heavy on me. Hearing what people think about my art has been fun, but the actual creation of it is pretty stressful for me. Unless it's like towards the end. Towards the end, I'm having a little more fun, but the whole time I'm like stressed. I always say there's two different things between a passion and a purpose. Like a passion is something you do for yourself, and then a purpose is something you do for other people. So this is something that I'm mixing both together. So what keeps me going is I just know that the more that I do it, the more I'm gonna get closer to something. I don't know what that is yet. I come from a family that's like very like, everyone has a degree, everyone's doing something that's like grand, you know? So as a kid, they just saw it as, oh, it's cute, you know? you know how to paint, whatever. But my dad, for some reason, one time, I like saw this ad on like the art something. It was like this ad they would put on the TV like in the early 2000s, and he like, someone came and then he paid like all this money for me to get this training. That was kind of strange for me that he actually like supported that, but they never thought that I would take it like seriously. Now that it's been 5 years or so that I actually like launched my art career and it's going somewhere, now they're like, oh wow, like you're doing something, you know? I have to thank my husband because he actually helped support me through all of this. I know it's really hard for most artists to have to work and to create. That takes a lot of task on like your mindset, or having to create in order to work and to pay for stuff. So I know that I'm blessed that I'm able to create, and like my mind can download stuff because I'm not worried about everything else. It's almost like purposeful why this is happening for me right now, so I don't take it for granted. I was very much colonial mindset too when I was younger. So I had like straight hair and like I wore blue contacts and like dyed my hair blonde. Ridiculous. so yeah, I didn't even know what I looked like, honestly. So I never really saw that. And then creating art, the only artist I really connected to was Frida Kahlo, like, because honestly, that was one of the only women artists that I knew that was Hispanic as well. That was the only thing that I saw. Other than that, it was just me. Because honestly, I really learned how to paint through Bob Ross. So I would say he was my art dad. Yeah, you see him over there. He's watching over me. For me, success is the trickle of people's, you know, consciousness being open, or just like changing a pattern that they have, you know, through something that they saw in my artwork. That's really what I want to accomplish. Like a group of people that were like, oh, because I saw this, now I started doing that. That type of mentality is what makes me like excited of everything I create. Changing people's minds and just helping them not get stuck. My ultimate goal is to not be reincarnated, honestly. That's my ultimate goal. And then I feel like I came back to do something like this. It might not even be that it's the actual art that is my purpose. It might be me talking about it. That's probably what it is. And this is just a catalyst to that, for what I'm trying to say when it comes to being a human and a spirit and all that, and consciousness. So that's for me. If I can complete that task and not being reincarnated, that'd be great for me. I'm Reinilda Blair. I'm a visionary artist, and this is my voice, and this is my life.